Hello! Welcome! Welcome to the captain's table, ladies and gentlemen. How y'all doing? Welcome. The best Evo bug is the SRT and MaxLift LOD bug. Do not report. I have not even been able to play Star Citizen P2 yet, Evocati, but I will probably after the stream. I can tell you now that the next two videos, are going to be next three videos actually for the lore channel, which are I'm going to be doing a story thus far for people who weren't here in 2025 or didn't play a lot of the stuff in 2025, where I'm going to take my story of the Pyro-Stanton War and the story of the regen crisis, and I'm going to take those two videos and sort of mash them together. I'm going to do a small little video on regen crisis and ASD. I'm going to do a small little intro, add a small little intro that's basically just like, hey, this is what the Stanton system's like, this is what the Pyro system's like, just small overview. And then I'm going to do a small add-on which talks about, what's the name of the damn thing? Pull it up. It seems a lot of people think Star Citizen's right after Squadron, not decades later. I think that may change a bit. No, I don't think Star Citizen's right after Squadron, but it's not decades later. I think anyone who thinks that Star Citizen is like releasing in 2030 doesn't know the financials of CIG. What year is Squadron set? 2945. That's when it starts. So yeah, the clearing the air event. So the last little part of that video will be the Molina mold, aka the People's Ailment. I'll basically take the features and gameplay discussion that they kind of the stuff they have for clearing the air. I'm gonna have that as the kind of as the story so far, as the beginning of the story so far. And so I expect it to be like 2 hours long, but it's going to be a lot of cutting and pasting and stitching in little new bits from each of the old videos, so. Claw salamanders are new, though. Geeson? Geeson? Yeah. It's an actual name. How's Lore Man himself doing? I'm doing okay. But to finish up those ideas, sorry, I've been getting distracted. I'm also gonna redo my intro to Star Citizen lore video, my like brief intro to Star Citizen lore video. Most of it is fine. It's just the order of planets is screwed up. I need to update the footage for that anyways. And then I'm also gonna add Pyro and Nyx as the planets that are in so far. I thought it was Dyson with a G. It's Geeson. Yeah, it'd be Geeson. Not Guy Son. Guy Son would be G-U-Y Son. Air filters for their vacuums and all. I mean, the air filters make sense. One of the things that's important to remember is that there is no outside when it comes to places like Vlevsky, so all of the air has to be recycled. It has to be brought in or made or recycled air. So you want filters to filter out all the other bullshit that would be in the air circulation. Even modern spaceships have air filters. Famously, there was a problem with Apollo 13's air filters because, like, some of them weren't working in, but they had the air filters for the LEM that they had to use, something like that. I remember it had something to do with the air filtrations. Yeah, square peg round hole. Yeah. Do I think the clear the air event will lead up to instancing? Maybe. The clear the air event is clearly just a copy of the, like an updated version of the Resource Rush. It's just Resource Rush 2.0. It's CIG has the stuff they need, and now they're going to try to do it again with the elevators not as broken.
Welcome to the ASOP vehicle retrieval system.
What did I take down here? Okay, I thought I did.
Vehicle selected. Stand by. Your vehicle has been
Blasted open one of the airlocks at the abandoned Idris floating in Seraphim, near Seraphim. Only got a CS2, and my friend took the Idris out into space, and we got a railgun into mine. Threw it into mine. Oh, nice.
Your please visit
No, I get what you're saying. Like, because that mission is definitely leading to them doing the. It's a narrative leap bridge to.
Your vehicle has been moved to our storage facility. Please visit us again.
Let's see if it gets destroyed. Purple, 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 purple.
My spaceship. You can take away my space suit.
Yeah, there it goes.
Take away my space lasers. But you can never,
Never,
ever
ever.
take away my space game.
Keniac89 just resubscribed for 43 months.
Thank you, Keniac, for that 43 months of support. You're a very important part. We're very impressed with any pedestrian. This is your fault. There was not drinking night. Shots and cheers in chat, y'all. Shots and cheers.
The ASOP vehicle retrieval system.
Okay. Based on the mission description, I kind of hoping we get our first crack at the municipal works at Levski. I think we'll get there, but I don't think that's the next step. I think this is just a interim step of interesting storytelling. Like what this is a isolated event in the broader scheme of things. Again, I think about things too much.
Your insurance claim has been sent.
Let's see if this fixed the problem.
Thank you.
Okay, got 5 minutes.
Please visit us again.
So I often overthink things, and I often think past CIG, but when it comes to the narrative, but I can see this as a bottle episode. Anybody who knows what a bottle episode is. It's disconnected from the main storyline, but is still set inside the main storyline of the tensions between the UEE and Levski and the People's Alliance. So the UEE is trying to prove to the People's Alliance that they still care about the People's Alliance so that they can try to peacefully integrate the People's Alliance into the UEE by helping them deal with the problems with this situation. You can also think about it as like plenty of larger nations want to help smaller nations out through aid because it's soft power. You know, it's building soft power. So that fits nicely into the narrative. But it allows for them to do something interesting, similar to the resource rush stuff, but in its own, but add new factors. Like there's new like tier missions. So like once you complete 25 hauling missions, you have to transport a specific individual to Microtech. Once you do 25 combat missions, you have to, I think, retrieve a specific individual who's been kidnapped. Who's in cargo, who's in cryospaces. So like it's adding a couple of different variations to test out those different gameplay features to see if they can make some interesting ideas. That's often when I talk about CIG learning how to tell stories in Star Citizen. I know a lot of people say like, oh well, I talked with Tomato about this. Tomato says, well, they should know how to do this. It's like, yeah, but A, none of them have done this before, and B, Star Citizen isn't League, it's not WoW, it's not any other game but Star Citizen. So they have to figure out what works in terms of missions themselves, in terms of how they work. An a la carte event, yeah. It's a Monster of the Week episode for those of you who are because they've been using a lot of television references, so. Not sure we know the ultimate finish. The good guys will win. This is Star Citizen. This is not. this is CIG doesn't let the good guys lose, which is one of my critiques of CIG. Watch this be a. See, that's the thing I would do. What I would do is that this is actually a. Partially a smoke screen so that the division or other intelligence agencies like the advocacy would plant bugs throughout all of Levski, and they're really sloppy about it. And so the security forces and Nyx discover the sloppily planted bugs, and it drives more tensions between the two sides. So what seems to be a gesture of goodwill is actually something sinister, at least claiming to be something sinister. As long as it works better than Resource Drive, we'll see. I think this early in the year it might, but we'll see. You should see the signs in Levski, Paul. Have they added new signs in Levski? In 4.6?
Vehicle retrieval system.
You can take away my space suit.
Suit.
Bye.
You can even take away my space lasers.
No PPUs.
But you can never, ever
Okay, I'll look at it.
take away my space game.
SPG_Legion just resubscribed for 49 months.
Thank you for that.
Greetings, Mr. Astropup, storyteller of the forgotten, pioneer of the historians, claimer of Noladgay. Here's for many years more. Have a wonderful new year in 2026.
You too, my friend. Thank you so much for 49 months of support. You're very important, Papa. Very impressed, best, very pedestrian. This is for all leaders from Drinking Night. Shots and cheers in chat, y'all. Shots and cheers. Who's on the captain's table today? We got a big one. We got Captain Serious Fun. We got Space Tomato, and we've got Drinkers with Gaming Problems. Me and Tomato are going to have a spicy discussion because I discovered that Tomato does not believe that Castro will be coming in this year.
To the ASOP vehicle retrieval system.
And I'm like, nah, it's coming in this year. Don't get me wrong. I don't think it'll be a good integration of Castra, but it'll come in. Yeah, Badgers is his other name, but his handle is Drinkers with Gaming Problems. But yeah, it's Badgers. Raptor, we're doing a casual we're doing a ship combat discussion at the end of the month. If you want to do that, feel free, Raptor. We've also, I'm going to be picking up, I've already got Bops, who's part of it. And then I need to pick up, I need to talk to A1 and see if any A1 or any of his crew want to come in and talk a little bit about it. Because I just want to kind of do this, because this month is probably going to be pretty light in terms of content and discussion. So I figured I'd do sort of an overview of a lot of different things. So like one of the major things, it's not the end of the month, it's the second week of the month. Today we're doing an overview, like expectations. Next week for the captain's table is... engineering. So next week we're going to talk about engineering and the future of engineering in 2026. Then the week after that we're going to be talking about combat in 2026. And then at the end of the month we're going to talk about social tools. The only thing I didn't put in there is crafting because I want to do crafting when it gets a little bit closer. All of those things we already have in game right now, so it's a matter of like talking about some of those things as they exist. So this, the 24th. The 24th is the ship combat. So just mark yourself down on that calendar if you can. Yeah, no, that's the thing. I haven't heard Tomato's discussion on it. I think maybe Tomato, y'all who've heard Tomato's argument about that. Is it that this Star Citizen isn't going to be ready for that? That they'll spend a lot of time building Nyx? I'll have to ask him myself, but we'll have a conversation about it for sure. Yeah, that is Badgers. Funny you mentioned that. I went 2 years ignoring Drinkers with the Gaming Problem suggestion for YouTube because I was unaware it was Badgers. He just should change his name to Badgers. That's what he goes by, so. Right. As usual.
Thank you, and please visit again.
Let's try this one. I haven't done this one yet. This is interesting. Grim. Then go a bunch of different ones. Let's try this one. Let's head to Grim. He doesn't want it because he wants the in-game locations fleshed out before new systems introduced. So he doesn't want it. I think it's going to happen no matter what. And I understand that argument. I also think that CIG's in a situation where they need to get a lot of things in place before they can build on it. Like, Nyx can have its locations, it can build its planets, and then build out more locations as they get closer to beta. And they'll do some locations in space, because Nyx is mostly going to be a space-based thing. All of the other planets are either, like, uninhabitable, like barely habitable or dangerous, or a gas giant, like literally can't go into it. CIG left Pyro for a different reason, though. They left Pyro because, in my opinion, based off of what I've seen, so there don't just no hard facts, but it has to do with how it was built. That it was built too quickly, or built as one piece, which makes it harder to fix. Never. Ever.
Take away my space.
Grexam just resubscribed for 20 months.
Thank you so much for that 20 months of support there, Gregson. You're very important, Papa, very impressive, very pedestrian. This front there's drinking out. Shots and cheers, chat, y'all. Shots and cheers. Pyro needs an overhaul. What Pyro needs is Genesis. It needs Genesis, and then it needs Star Architect. And they'll probably revamp all of the locations in Pyro once Star Architect comes in, so they can just turn all the planets, use all the planets in Pyro into Genesis planets, and then use the Star Architect to build out those locations. I think the Pyro gets an overhaul before Stanton does, simply because Pyro is so much easier to fix, because nobody gives a shit about Pyro. And to be fair, most of the locations on Pyro have no connection. Nobody is really tied to the Golden Riviera, because could you tell the difference between the Golden Riviera and Sears Canyon? Or Sears Canyon? No. I mean, like, maybe if you've gone there a bunch of times, you can see the differences, but most of the time you're not going to see shit. Like, there's no uniqueness of these. They're all very cookie cutter. Unlike the landing zones of Stanton and Levski, for instance. Exactly. What the fuck is the Golden Riviera? Nobody knows what the fuck I'm talking about. I know it because I run orphan-made medical supplements to them, but, you know. No, I agree. I think, honestly, Ghost, what I would do if I had the ability is let the fucking mission teams, or let the mission team and the environment team fucking cook, and remove those stations that are, like, not the main stations around the planets. The four main ones. The 4 or 5 main ones. All of the other additional ones, remove them and replace them with derelict stations. And then add interesting environmental hazards to those places. Like, basically gigantic, like bigger versions of the asteroid stations they have now. One of the biggest things they need to do is they need to make it so that NPC support can happen. When you can call for, like, space AAA to come help you out and fill you up, then it'll be a lot easier to remove those fuel stations because you're not then just reliant on players. This is very weird. I get what you're saying there, Captain Chico. Basically, like, having stations be super low and super high cost, super low in volume and super high in cost, if they're not rough and ready controlled. But I'd also love to see non-rough and ready controlled stations. Again, the problem with Pyro, fundamental problem with Pyro, is that they built it up like 2 years before they actually released it, and then they were trying to refine it over those 2 years, and over those 2 years they made more and more advancements that improved the game dramatically and improved gameplay. Like, between them coming up with Pyro and then coming up with 1.0, they changed what Pyro was going to be. Basically, Pyro changed, and because Pyro changed, or the game changed, because the game changed, Pyro had to change with it, but it was too late for them to change it if they wanted to release Pyro at a reasonable time. So they just released it as it was, and then they're going to go back and fix it later. And it's become quite clear the way they fix it is they just wait until all of their new tech comes online. Which missions were those? Those are the ones you go in and you kill an entire, like, settlement? Don't get me wrong, Pyro is beautiful, but it just lacks any value to it. There's no narrative reason you should give a shit about Pyro. There's no gameplay reason you should give a shit about Pyro. There's no, like, aesthetic theme other than garbage, and people generally don't like garbage. I guarantee you, more people have been to Levski in the last couple of months than have been to Pyro in an entire fucking year. And Levski has almost nothing in it. Each LEO and Pyro had a different separate merc mission. Oh yeah, when crafting comes in, Pyro will be the place you go get the best materials. Because CIG will force that. But it'll be Nyx 1 and then Pyro. I'm gonna fill up at Pyro Gateway. So is there a specific reward for the Dead Saints chain, or just feel like running at the moment? I'm a smuggler. that is the profession I wish to partake in. This is a smuggling mission. So this is the rep chain I need to build anyways. And I'm slowly working my way up there. Basically, my goal is to be a trader who also partakes in smuggling, in the sense that I'm going to be trading in everywhere. Going to go to all the places to trade. Find the stuff that it's good and bring it there and that kind of stuff. So I don't think base building's coming in this year, honestly. I think base building's coming in next year. I think Castra is easier for them to do, so they'll do Castra. Especially if they do dynamic meshing. If they manage to get dynamic meshing in before the end of the year, the first thing they'll do is Castra. I'm kind of getting bored. You're only kind of getting bored of the generic bad guy factions. I'm fucking exhausted of them. Like, CIG needs to fucking learn how to do goddamn sandbox missions. There should be no generic bad guy. There should always be shades of gray. I'm sad they're trying to make Moraine the generic bad guy. I mean, they did the same thing with the fucking pyro rats, with the fire rats. Yeah, that's stupid though. You should be able to join the fire cult in Space IRA. Why? Because it should limit your options. Like, being part of the Moraine should mean that you can't go to fucking Stanton. Or you'll be fucking shot. If they're willing to commit to rep, then sure. Which is the fucked up part, because, like, Freelancer had this rep. Like, it had a basic version, like, a more advanced version of the rep we have now. But, like, it had a basic version of that kind of idea. But Freelancer had that rep. Like, that was part of its charm, was that you had rep with all the different factions who were all competing for control. And it'd affect your standing in the game. Yeah, that's not a bug. It's a feature. If players want to do, but if players are allied with X and they can't do Y, the thing they should do, because they say the game is for everyone, that they should do is they should have certain missions be for criminals, and certain events be for criminals, and certain events be for law-abiding citizens. Basically, faction-based events. Will the players who aren't in that faction be pissed? Probably. But if everyone knows, oh yeah, no, they're going to do a mission for like all the different versions and types of players, then people will go, oh, so I just have to wait for my mission stuff to come up. Okay. More people will be more realistic about that stuff as long as they have interesting stuff to do. And they fucking added mining missions finally in 4.6, even though it's not fully done yet. They're not fully committed to it. They did add mining missions. There are a lot of choke points. There's always choke points. That's their fetish. You should understand that. I'm not gonna kink shame them. I'm just tired of it. I'm sad that the AD4Bs don't sound as good as in Squadron 42 gameplay. They'll probably sound better. They'll probably move some of that information over, some of that that sound stuff over. The problem isn't necessarily choke points. The problem is the number of choke points. There should be multiple ways of doing certain things. It's just good, good gameplay design. Yeah, they love their single point of failure choke points, which is what usually fails when they have stress tests. And then they get confused as to why people are mad. It's like, because you keep doing this. I know how and why they keep messing up sharing missions. It's because it's built on the old. Right now, the share system is built on the old social tools, and they just haven't bothered to fucking update the social tools or even maintain them very well. Simply because they're building the new social tools, hopefully as we speak. If Chris Roberts did make that a priority, it sounds like it should be something they look at. We'll know more about that soon, but I think it has to come in with all of these sort of things they're building. I think new social tools was a priority 6 months ago, which means it should come out in three to 6 months. It closed. That Apollo opened it up, so. The feeling I have is that CIG says anyone should play the way they want, but they try to do, try to do is play with everything I give you. Otherwise, you'll be blinded by the light, flashbanged. I was not be able to do anything outside of basic stuff. A lot of that has to do with the fact they just haven't updated the basic stuff to matter. If CIG wants multi-crew gameplay, the in-group gameplay, they need to act like it, because they're not acting like they do. What they're acting like is they want, they're acting like they're just throwing stuff what they can do out to slop stuff out so that they can get engagement, so that they can sell ships, rather than make a video game that people will play over and over again. Furthest one away. Last landings. I'll refuel at Ruin and get out. I don't know why they need focus drugs at Terminus, but man, that's so bang on the truth. I appreciate that. I don't. This is not me saying that CIG is just sitting there twirling their thumbs, being like, "How much money can we make off of ships?" It's more like, right now, they're using what they have, and their priority is ships, and to continue things going, rather than building out the game. Now, it seems like their focus is on trying to get these features out so that they can start focusing on that. Like, this event does seem to be sort of focused on that sort of direction. But right now is none of those features are in yet. Staffing cuts resulting in required overtime. As far as I know, there hasn't been any staffing cuts recently. Just the closure of the LA studio, but that was like 2 years ago. I do group content out of charity because I really don't get much out of it myself. Because there isn't enough for a group to progress, but the individual to pick up by the group. Yeah, there needs to be things that are better done in groups that can reward players. One of the reasons why I push, and I think a lot of people push for org or like faction-based shops, is that if you have a goal, like if the Dead Saints sold some amazing fucking stealth equipment, I could just be like, yo, Ghost, you want some stealth equipment? I'm working on the Dead Saints. You can either help me or I can buy it for you and give it to you. Because I know Ghost loves stealth equipment. There'd be a reason to do the Dead Saints mission chain, because there's a faction shop where you can go buy stuff from. And so you don't have to rely on fucking Wicklow. But it still requires you to grind the reputation up to the point where you can actually get in there. So now you're doing the game, playing the content for a eventual goal to get something. Grind is a choice. Yeah, I'm not saying grind as in like you have to grind, but like there is a progression you're going for. Salty Mike couldn't rejoice in his mining missions for. I was so surprised it took him so long, because they had it on the list with salvage missions, and then it disappeared while salvage missions stayed, and it's like that was like 2 years ago. No, yeah, the recipe's whack for Wicklow, but there should be other versions of Wicklow. We need to have a little bit of both, I feel. While I hate Wicklow, I see him as a source of interesting customizations. Yeah, Wicklow should be the guy you go to for, like, specific ships and specific equipment that you can get. But I do think that you should do two things. One, Wicklow should sell you some stuff. And the other thing is that Wicklow should trade you should trade some stuff for other things. Like, quite honestly, what Wicklow should be 1.0, he should be a blueprint dealer. He's an engineer. He should sell you the blueprints. Instead of you getting an Idris from Wicklow, you get the blueprint of an Idris from Wicklow. Yeah, and also alien tech and unique weird stuff, that kind of stuff. Are you excited to liberate the people of Lorville someday over my cold dead body? I am. I will be the bullet when it comes to preventing the UEE from taking over Levski. These hands will be rated E for the UEE. Oh, did he say the people of Lorville? I thought he meant Levski. Did he say for the people of Lorville? Oh, Lorville someday. Sorry, Convergence. We've been talking about that before. Hell yes. When CIG finally actually makes interesting, like the ability to bypass or to like ignore basically where you can actually use weapons inside of Lorville. For those of you who don't know, I'm tempted at calling it Operation Gramsci because I'm awful for Antonio Gramsci. But the idea is that at some point, my plan is kind of like an Operation Pitchfork, only more dumb. To get a force to bum rush the outer gates, fight our way through security, get onto the trams, get to Central, kill every guard we can see until we control all of Lorville. Until either they exhaust the number of guards they're sending at us, or they can no longer, like, until CIG has to send in the fucking Navy to put us out. Basically, Pete's the Hurstons. No, Red October the Hurstons. But wouldn't that just create a power vacuum and fall into chaos like Iraq? Yes. It would force the UEE to come in and actually deal with the problems of Hurston, because they've been letting Hurston do whatever the fuck they want, because this would threaten their supply of weapons to the UEE military. The goal of which is entirely to get our fucking dumbasses into the lore, so we could force CIG to write in the Lorville Revolt, you know? So it doesn't help the people. It will, by forcing the UEE to pay attention to Hurston more. They're gonna have to pay attention to all of the crimes against humanity and all the violations of UEE law that Hurston has been doing, especially when the Hurstons are mostly dead. Your prison sentence after that would just display out of bounds. Oh no, I agree, Parker. This is not something we will be doing this year. This will be something we will be doing a while from now. I guess I didn't ask what your intention was. Is it more of a lore reasons because it would make a cool story? Yes. There's no way we would be able to control Lorville in the long term anyways, because CIG wouldn't let it happen. And eventually we would lose. But it would make a decent story, A, and B, it would force a lot of change to happen within the lore of itself. And it's very realistic. Like, the people of Lorville legitimately fucking hate the Hurstons. And there is an organized group of rebels against the Hurstons themselves, which I talked about in the Hurston Dynamics video. Is this water? I guess I don't think I've ever been here during the day. Again, it's not really about helping the people, because there's nothing you can do to help the people to actually liberate Lorville in a meaningful way that doesn't involve complicated political change within the lore itself, which CIG would probably never do. Or if they would do, it would be like its own expansion or its own mission giver. And that would take well past 1.0. Yeah, CIG doesn't seem to want to do too much complications with the lore. They seem to be very... I'm going to keep it as very simple as possible. We all wish the mule was useful. You think CIG would give you the material bonus like you can make attritions for a while in your guild? What do you mean? For what? For something like that? Maybe. But I mean, like, I don't. That's one of those things that would be make an event, force an event in Star Citizen lore. I know people have actively told me that I'm wrong, but I'm like, no, y'all, just give it a fucking tractor beam. Just give it a tractor beam. Remove the fucking, like, physical tongs and replace it with a tractor beam. Beam Citizen, embrace it. No, seems like it has justified. It has said, I have done it, so I can keep moving on. Now, if it's already down, then it's a little bit easier. Sometimes if you have to send it up. The other thing to do is to wait for it to go all the way down, and then get out. Sometimes you have to like let the game process everything on its own pace. Or just make the tongs moving grid. Yeah, they could do that. But I think making it a tractor beam means that you can also create a Drake version of the rock by getting a variant of it that's just a mining beam. So like you can. By swapping it over into a tractor beam, unlocks the ability for the rock to have multiple variants that you could then, or the mule to have multiple variants that you could then also do for more gameplay. It popped down on the list. I was having a new streamer the other day, and he was having a hell of a time doing his first calling contract. The first ones, I think, break. That's one of the things I've noticed, is that the first ones will break. It's one of those weird things where once you get through the first broken-ass, janky mission, then they fucking work fine. But for whatever reason, the initial ones always break. I would love to see pizza this year. I've been a big proponent of the pizza. CIG already fucked it up. God fucking damn it. I'm tired of these guys. Stop following me. No, they're not actually following me, but... They're probably just NPCs. Holy fuck, that's a lot, though. Is there any no other tech others than NT? There's no other tech companies yet. I'm sure there are that I haven't seen that are kind of like very different. Microtech is just Apple. ArcCorp does some tech as well. Like they've been researching into AI and stuff like that. So ArcCorp does have its own sort of tech. Tech research place. Apple with a little umbrella corp. So yeah, Apple. I think Tarsus might make some of the stuff as well. Okay, we're gonna go to Bloom. There we go. Just gotta fight with it a little bit. So do you think social tools in 4.6 or 4.6.1 or 4.7? Social tools are the only thing we have not seen specifically in game or even works in progress. We've only seen them through slideshows. So if anything, it's after inventory, because I'm sure the people who are involved in doing the new inventory system, they probably need to be factored in. They need to be brought over to the social tools. So whatever it is, it's post inventory. Yeah, the Apollo variant teas, yeah. Now, the missions, the solution to the missions, a simple solution to the missions, is have a max number of people who can be in the mission that gives you a certain payout. So missions scale with the number of people you have in it. So if the mission is designed for 5 people, you just say this mission is this mission is suggested 5 people, right? Like 2 to 5 people. So if you have 2 to 5 people, all of you get the max payout. If you go above that max limit, then it starts reducing the number you get. It starts distributing that money out to all of the other people. So it's basically, you can play with this with more than the suggested number of people, but the rewards will reduce significantly. But as long as you go up to that limit, everyone gets that reward. So everyone gets the 250k reward if you have 5 people. But if you have 6 people, now that's going to be 250k divided by 6. The Force 6, as far as we know, has not only... I was going to look that up. This is a good time for that. Yeah. I believe it's got night vision. So there's night vision is added to the game. We know it has the new mining missions. Yeah, early lamp. So basically, you'll get some basic. It's like Elite Dangerous's night vision for while you're flying a ship. And Malakiri. I like the payment for each drops for 10% for current value of each over 5 players design limit. I mean, just making it like it is now, once you go over the limit of the players, would encourage players to play within the limit of what the mission was designed for the maximum payout. But it wouldn't restrict players from doing it if they wanted to just mob it because they want to get certain goods or something like that. So that way, you know how many players you're supposed to play in, but they're not going to artificially limit that number unless you're having you're doing a instance, and then they can artificially limit the instances. The other simple solution is just you can only get rewards for the mission if you are within a X radius of the mission completion. So if it's a multi-step mission like this, if you're within X radius of the last location we drop off and you have shared this mission with you, then you should be able to then you will get that. But if you were in Stanton, then you won't get rewards for the mission. So that prevents players from taking the same mission, doing two different, or taking the same missions, doing 2 different things, and then doubling the rewards. I don't know what a Claw Salamander is. It's probably some alien creature, though. If a glitch leaves someone behind a door 1 room away from the finale, they still get the reward? Yeah, basically. It also encourages players to stick around, even if, I want to finish this mission so I can get the reward, kind of thing. Knowing the writers, they have the story of the Claw Salamanders, who they do, what they do, why they're active in Nyx, all that kind of stuff. But the writers do one thing. It's up to the mission teams and the actual designers to actually implement them in a way that makes sense. And if you John Wick a mission solo, you don't get 5 times the reward for the mission. Exactly. The idea being, if the mission is designed for 5 people, everyone gets 250,000. So if you do it solo, you still get 250,000. You don't get 5 times the amount. That means that players have an incentive to do it, and then on top of that, it discourages players from going above if they want to min-max their totals. Is this a turning point? I mean, I know this is because all that fucking scrap everywhere. That's over there. Of course I would do this, but someone parked a fucking caterpillar on top of it. Alright, well, we'll do this. Not this good. Alright, we're at the Golden Riviera, I'm pretty sure. Yeah. So I need 1 slam and 1 neon. Slam. 1 neon. I have no idea what this guy is doing. Hey, bud. But I'm just trying to make a delivery, that's all. Yeah, I'm just making a delivery. Delivery. All right, cool. Ow. No, I think I got hit by something. I broke one of my own rules of smuggling. Should have went back into the ship and just waited for these fuckers to leave. But I have got a time. Hey, Hagboard. Done. Okay. Thanks, fellas. Good luck. Good luck to whatever you're doing. Hey, Space Poseidon. And that's a spaceship-looking spaceship. Yeah. Look good. How are you? That is not the that is not the pilot seat. Tager lock imbalance. I have nothing but major torque imbalance. Forever.
You can take away my spaceship. You can take away my space suit. You can even take away my space lasers. But you can never,
Never.
ever
Ever.
take away my space game.
Twisted Void has subscribed.
Thank you so much for becoming a subscriber there, Twisted Void. You're a very important pupper, very impressed, Mr. Very pedestrian. This your fault. The return drinking night. Shots and cheers and chat. Y'all shots and cheers. Got myself a Dust Devil set. The other I'm looking forward to is whenever Genesis comes live. Nice. Okay. Let's go there. There we go. Go to Starlight, then I'll jump. Pedro, you fucking bastard. Thank you, Stinkeroo. It's funny, one of the first comments I had was someone being like, this isn't what's to expect in 2026, this is what you expect. I'm like, that's the title, dumbass. Like, that's the fucking title of the video. Why do you click on the video to get mad about the title of the video? Pretty much everyone was like, why are you like this? Probably. It's no stretch to say I absolutely hate the lack of horns in the Epoch Duster set. Not only is it gorgeous, but Pedro manages to hit the fucking song, write a song that captures the gorgeousness of that moment perfectly. I mean, my swing for the fences is still the Titan suit. I'm gonna do this. This would be really annoying, but nope, nope. Now I can jump. Yeah, that's a good way of putting it. The CIG will underdeliver and the community will overreact. Yeah. He might be using some space heaters. I don't know. He's just very good. How you doing, Twisted Void? Thank you for coming in, buddy. Thank you for subscribing. Love the YouTube vids, first live stream though. Well, welcome. I'm guessing the lore stream, the lore videos. My next one's gonna be sort of a catch, another stitched together catch up video, where it just kind of like catches you up on all of the story of Star Citizen so far. No, they're not gonna have a live Citizen come this year. I don't think so. The only way they do it is if it has connected to Squadron in some way. I know I've heard a lot of the community thinks it's going to be released sooner. Squadron is going to be released sooner. I don't think so. Like, I don't see them releasing it sooner than October. It's not even in beta yet. You know? You wouldn't go into beta and then release within like a month or two. Like, even if it's released in June, that would mean that you'd have to go in. It's not in beta yet. It means that the earliest to go into beta would be like the end of January or February, which means you're going in less than 4 months of beta for release. It just doesn't happen. Someone sent me a very interesting analysis where they had a breakdown of like all of the stuff that's going on, and apparently there's another investor other than the Calders. What are you doing, bud? What are you doing? You try to shoot me, they're gonna fire back. Yep. Don't you have guns? You do have guns. All of a sudden became very peaceful once I got within the gun range. It's an NPC, it's not a player. Team effort. It's not just Pedro. It's the fact that Pedro's music doesn't matter if there's no team that's actually making those cues work and making the vistas work with the cue, with the music and that kind of stuff. But without Pedro, it wouldn't be as good. Another great example of this, in my opinion, from my experience, is Call of Duty. How many Call of Duty games have you played where you're like, man, this soundtrack is fucking amazing? Like, there is no Call of Duty soundtrack that I can think of that, like, reminds me of Call of Duty. I can't say the same for, like, Battlefield. Battlefield is an iconic soundtrack. Ace Combat, additionally, iconic soundtrack. But that's like one of those things where Call of Duty has been such a major franchise for so long that you'd think that there'd be some sort of like instantly recognizable Call of Duty music. But like, I don't think I've really heard one. Maybe if you've played the game a lot in like multiplayer lobbies, like the lobby music might be like big, but like... No, Vortigo. Vortigo says on the loading screen they've developed. They said they've developed faster light comms. Does this mean data running Drake Herald gameplay is dead? The whole point of FTL comms didn't exist. The whole point of FTL comms didn't exist. No, because you still like think about it this way. Just because we have email, does that mean that packages aren't sent anymore? We have instant communications with like YouTube, not YouTube, but like Discord, but we still have letters and we still have packages. So my guess would be that there is a limited amount. Come on, bub. Let's go. Yeah, private communications, encryption. So they'll still be there. It's just they've sort of refined it so that they can tell stories where you have FTL communication in there. They are leaning heavily, though, on the recency bias sort of thing. It seems like CIG is like, oh, all these new inventions are coming out in the last 20 years. All these major inventions that are fundamentally changing how the universe functions. That seems convenient. Why the fuck did this happen? Who's starting all of this major revolution in science and technology? Neat, no big deal. I've been out of the loop. So yeah, that's fine, dude. I understand. Like the FTL communication stuff is more of a recency thing. Like they just dropped it in that and they haven't really talked about it much. But a lot of people have had the same question. Like, wait, does this mean that data running is dead? It's like probably not. They can't really kill data running, otherwise they would have at least two ships. One ship that's dedicated to it, another ship that's completely that's like main focuses it. They'd have to completely rework their ships, and I don't see them doing that because they're already very, very worried about legal ramifications for changing things, which is their excuse for doing a bunch of stuff that's stupid. I imagine people would sue if CIG sold a product for a specific purpose and then removed that purpose entirely and said then did not improve, like just did that. Like they're fucked. They have to add data running. They can't just pull data running out of the game and say, nope, we never added this, because that would cause problems as much as anything else. You don't know if a loading screen blurb matters until it's obvious. The loading screen blurbs have predicted the story and the direction that CIG has been going for the last year. So they are important to pay attention to. Just out of reach. Is there a station nearby? Let's go to checkmate. Does Pyro 1 not have a station? City, rods, fuel and supplies. Checkmate, there we go. It's on the way. Wait. Too close. Did I not finish delivering it? I may have not finished delivering it. I may have gotten talking and didn't actually do the thing. Yeah, you can talk about the leaks. I just noticed that I was like, why does the mission finish? I thought I pulled the cargo out. The UE Plague, interesting turn of events. See as UEE is moving into Nyx and terraforming, don't you think? Yeah, definitely. I want to believe that CIG's developers are smart when it comes to this, and the writing team and the storytelling teams know what they're doing. But this is the same team that said, we fooled you, you know, a year ago this month, we fooled you. It was the dumbest fucking take I have seen, like, since Pride and Accomplishment. It's definitely an NPC. Here? Nope, I landed over there. I literally forgot to send it down. That's all. No, this is 4-5. 4-6 is under NDA. Where did those things go? Did they disappear? They showed up on my tractor, on my transfer. I may have just fucked it up. That's all. Oh, there they are. Done. Let's see. Yeah, I can talk about it. You just can't. You can't show it off until it's wave 1. I haven't played it. I just see the leaks, but that's fine. Again, in an ideal world, CIG starts making these missions a little bit more gray, more, you know, be careful who you trust. Now I can repair here. There's not much in it, man. It's a decent January patch, yeah, because it's not much in it. It's just the mining missions and the new event. It's also got some stuff in there, but like not enough to really justify a huge amount of destabilization.
Landing gear up.
All right, I'm gonna risk it for the biscuit. I'll be right back, chat. Because yeah, how often do we have a January patch? That's a good point.
Weapons free, y'all.
Two words. Distress bacon.
Genesis.
Stand by for Titanfall.
Good news, everyone.
Everybody and his dog calls himself an outlaw.
Not too bad. Figured I'd actually just start going straight down, but I didn't.
Genesis.
Honestly, if you also do this, where you like hit your mobiGlas, it should cause it to stick. Seven service stations in Nyx, ice caves also in leaks and data mines. Yeah, that makes sense. I haven't seen those, but I'll have to pull up the other leaks I use. There it is. Laura has a now collected leaks channel from both Hater and Pipeline, but I made it after the leaks came out, so it's missing some stuff. Okay. I'm not seeing much from their other ones. Oh, holy fuck. They actually have a fucking reason why Tressler exists in Microtech. It's named after an actual person who's part of Microtech, Alina Tressler. Fucking finally, there's a lore reason why they have these names. Like Seraphim Station makes sense because it's the original name of Crusader Industries. The problem is that like Eberus Harbor, what the fuck does that mean? You know? I think 7 service stations is just for the Glacium Belt, and probably is too much. That's a really small area for 7 stations plus Levski. Bajini, former Arcorp CEO? I mean, easily. Could also be the name of their first, of the city where their first, they were first headquartered or something. Yeah, the Lagrange stations were generated randomly, but like the names of most of the LEO stations seem to have also been sort of random. They just sort of put them in there, but they never gave a justification for the names. Yeah, they're not called. CIG doesn't call them ground stationary or anything like that. They call them LEO stations, which doesn't make a lot of sense because they're not Earth, but they're not really geostationary either because they're ground stationary because you'd have to be much further out. Well, they could just call it as Everest Hurston Station, and it's named after a Hurston named Everest. Though I think they should change the name to Solomon Hurston Station. Or Solomon Station. Because, A, that fucking rocks. Solomon Station, like a nice like alliteration there. Not alliteration, but you know what I mean. It feels good to say. I'm heading to Solomon, and it's also the name of the founder of Hurston Dynamics. There's literally nothing else in the lore, in the game, that pays tribute to Solomon. Nobody gives a fuck about Solomon. We don't even have a picture of Solomon in the game, which makes no goddamn sense.
You can take away my space suit.
Suit.
You can even take away my space lasers.
No computers.
But you can never, ever take away my space.
That is liberation. Okay, good.
Veritas just resubscribed for 17 months.
Thank you, Veritas, for that 17 months of support. You're very important. Very important, Papa. Very impressive, Mr. Very neat pedestrian. This is your fault that you're trying to drink at night. Shots and cheers and chat, y'all. Shots and cheers. Game. Local post offices. What they should call, they should also rename the Pyro Gateway Station to, oh gosh, what's his name? Starts with A. Archibald. They should call it Archibald Hurston's Pyro Gateway. Because Archibald Hurston's the guy who's got all the golden statues named after him, or of him all over the place. My prediction for 2026, MASH certification. I don't think so. Hurston should dedicate the Gateway Station to the Hurston Orphans Foundation for the memes. Jasper Station. That'd be cool. Paul just realized how stupidly big Warhammer ships are. You just realized? Oh no, it's huge. The smallest Warhammer ships, in terms of like interplanetary or interstellar vessels, dwarf anything that you can find in most other universes. There's a reason why it basically takes an entire city of people to load the guns of these warships. Like, we're talking like hundreds, if not thousands, of people just to load one bullet into a gun on these ships. Yeah, 40K ships are cities. There's a great TTRPG done by the folks who did I think it was done by the folks who did Emperor's Texas Speech Device, where one of the players plays a rogue trader, and so they have a ship, and one of the running jokes is that the people, the crew that run the rogue trader vessel are like all primitive savages who've been brought on board, and so like they have a running joke of them evolving like gaining, like going through like the Stone Age and that kind of stuff, and figuring out how to like the society slowly changing inside the ship, and they just keep getting updates from like the first officer about it. Craft worlds are worlds, but they're about the same size as a continent. They're like a small world. It's so sad that the art detail can only go so far, because I'd love to see a scale with enough detail to really sell the scale. Yeah, it's really difficult to kind of go that direction, because everything in the 40K universe is so brokenly large. Like, Imperator class Titans are massive, but nobody knows how massive they are, because in description they're pretty big, but in visual representation they tend to not seem that big.
Landing gear out.
Like they have a dead Imperator Titan in the background of one of the missions for Space Marine 2. But even that, it doesn't really sell the scale very much, because you can still see the whole damn thing. That's one of the things that VR tends to do, does pretty well, is it really sets you to the scale of the ships. Because as you're standing there or sitting there with your VR headset on, you can actually look, and that gives you a better perspective of scale. Like the Freelancer is fucking huge. The landing gear cowling of the Freelancer is like 8 feet tall. So it's like the size of a typical room. Like it's like floor to ceiling, and it probably takes up one whole like bedroom in a typical house. Like it's huge. Just one cowling. Man, I don't know when the Astartes series is gonna be done. There's actually some images where you can see a Warlord class Titan. Not a bit of Warlord, a Warhound, whatever the ones that you can actually buy models of that that GW sells. You can actually see them in the foreground with the Imperator in the background. They're tiny. They look like insects compared to the Imperator. Imperators are the walking churches. Hey, Trinfinity, how you doing? This is music from the Jump Point, yeah. This is the Jump Point music. Alright, Trin. I don't know. I turned my music off in the game. It kills my immersion until we get music radios or Refuse to Fly more realistic. I love doing this because it's the for me it's all about the do that. Maps. I think it's High Course. That's Green Glade. Not too bad. Took about 2 hours to get this done. This is one of those missions that takes about an hour and a half. If I was just focused, dead focused on it, about an hour would make sense. I used to turn the music off of every game I played, and then I stopped doing that because I was like, listen, I need to understand what the designers wanted to do with this game in terms of its feel. And I've been doing that for a while so that I actually sort of get the balance, the point of the game. I feel like I'm watching a movie rather than living a space life. That's kind of the important though. The point though. It's supposed to be like playing a movie. How excited am I for 40K Total War? Very much so. However, it's going to be a while. It's going to be like a year before it releases. Like 2027, 2028. If I remember, Total War 40K is going to come with the Eldari, the Orcs, the Astra Militarum, and the Space Marines. Those are the 4 factions it's going to start with. But it's creative assembly. So what they'll do is they'll sell all of the other factions and sub-factions and their epic leaders in separate DLC packs. And you can buy them individually or buy them as a set. So, like, we'll almost certainly get Gazgul as the main orc leader, and then we'll get Gilliman as the main Space Marine leader, and we'll get probably Lenatus, I think is what his name is, for the Astra Militarum, and we'll probably get who's the fucking High Seer guy in the Eldari? Eldrad? We'll probably get Eldrad as the leader of the Eldari. And then they'll get, like, you know, Ursula Creed and, you know, all of the different leaders and, like characters in the 40K universe as their own epic faction leaders. Having played Warhammer, Total War Warhammer, I kind of get the idea. Eldrad Uthron, yeah, Uthron. But we'll get, like...
Please proceed to assigned landing bay.
We'll get, eventually, the Harlequins will have their own DLC pack. Like, the Sisters will have their own DLC pack, and they'll have the different leaders of the Sisters. And then they'll have, you know, the different orc war bosses, and they'll have the different chaos. Like, chaos isn't even in the first release. We'll have the different chaos factions and the chaos different Space Marine chaos factions. Warhammer Total War is pretty good. This one's going to be a little different. It's going to be part single player, do what you want, but it's going to be like when you're doing solo single player, do what you want sort of things. It'll be on a on a stellar scale, so you're like in one system. And then if you want to do bigger, you have to kind of go multiplayer and like play with friends or play online, and that'll be like multi-stellar scale. And then if you want to go like an entire section of space, you have to do it in multiplayer. Eternal Crusade died, yeah.
Landing complete. Have a pleasant stay.
But that was partially the fault of... Who was the company that did it? Because they also worked on Star Citizen. The company that did Eternal Crusade was one of the companies that was working with Star Citizen at the time. They just sort of fucked it up hardcore. Was it Behavior? No. Behavior didn't do... What did they do? KG's here? I didn't see KG. Oh, the other Korean gamer. Okay, yeah. Oh, yeah, I should have probably refilled my ship. Basically, what Eternal Crusade was Space Marine, the MMO. Like, it basically was the Space Marine game, but like multiplayer, and there was no like single player things. It was all like PvP. A lot of people liked it though. My theory is that Sandril Veilwalker isn't actually a Harlequin per se, but a Harlequin role that Shadowseer takes on when they need to talk to other races. Similar to how the Death Jesters are actually, or not Death Jesters. Who was it? Oh, there's one that is sort of takes on the role of Slaanesh in all of the stories. And it's like actually embodies Slaanesh. Solitaires, yeah. How they actually like literally embody Slaanesh. So they're not really like Slaanesh, but they take on the role of Slaanesh. Honestly, I'd like to see more Sisters of Battle games, or at least playable in 4. They'll be able to play them. There's an entire VR game called Sister of Battle, which is very similar to Space Marine. But yeah, Sisters of Battle are cool. They should have more games.
Retrieval system.
The expansion, or is it? I think it's the expansion. It might be in Bolt Gun 2. In Bolt Gun 2, you play as a sister of battle. If I remember correctly, the actress who plays the Sister of Battle in Bolt Gun 2 is the same actress who played the demon lady, the demon hero chick, like in Dispatch. Lana, I think is her name. I only know her. I know her for a lot of reasons because she's a voice actress who does a lot of cool things. But she's actually, as far as I remember, dating the guy who plays the actor of the first Bolt Gun game. Well, Sister of Battle's VR game is also available for non-VR, so. Harlequins also don't carry soul stones. Well, yeah, it's because they're bound to Chegarath. You should know that as a Harlequin player. So there's also rumors that the Harlequins are going to get their own faction in 11th edition Jin. So things will be set right. Because they just did a bunch of like new expansions with Harlequins. So like it's like 1 or 2 new Harlequin detachments. So which I point out every time someone points a Harlequin Wraith construct. Well, you could still have Eldar to like become attached to Chegarath. There could still be a way that a bunch of Wraith constructs end up getting in the hands of Chegarath and the Harlequins as sort of like a tool. We made more games where you play as an Inquisitor with a retinue. Isn't there a game that was just announced that they were going to do that? There used to be like a game called Inquisitor. Yeah, Inquisitor Martyr. It has a mostly positive. It's got a 7 out of 10. There's one that's a new one that's coming out soon. Maybe I'm wrong. Anywho, we're gonna hang out here for a bit because I got to get started, set everything up here in a couple minutes. Dark Heresy. I thought I heard one that was announced, and it was by Owlcat, the same people who did Rogue Trader. Oh, I love that you get a Bulgrin. That's so nice. You think PAL versus UEE conflict comes in like June or later than that? If they do it. If they do it, it'll come in later. I think it'll come in like the end of the year. Towards the end of the year. Yeah, I remember the Inquisitor tabletop. Dark Heresy is one of those interesting ones. For those who don't know, Dark Heresy was the 40K tabletop for a long time. Most people who've played 40K tabletop have played Dark Heresy. And it's come back and left and come back and left multiple times. So the fact that they're using they're creating basically a Dark Heresy CRPG, obviously based off the same engine they did with Rogue Trader. It makes me a little bit happy. I do like the fact that your companions include a Kroot, a Medicae, a Catachan, a Bulgrin, and a Eldar. An Eldari Corsair too. Ha! Neat. It's all perfectly in lore. The Corsairs would work with Inquisitors, same would with the Kroot. They just do whatever the fuck they want. I can't imagine them doing one or two missions about the PL Can't imagine them doing one or two missions about the PL conflict before switching to the Vanduul conflict. Having the Vanduul as the event enemy once Squad 42 comes around would be optimal, in my opinion. I agree. I'm just nostalgic for the TTRPG we did a couple of years ago with Loken and Ferris and all of the folks we did, because we had 2 Space Marines, a Tech Priest, and an Ogryn. And that Ogryn was fucking deadly, man. That Ogryn was the most deadly thing on that team. All right, expectation for 2026. We're gonna get. Let me hear your thoughts here, chat, because we already did the expectations, the sort of like, what do you think is gonna come in 2026 episode last week. Today we're doing one with Space Tomato, Serious Fun, and Badgers, aka Drinkers with Gaming Problems. Hey, I agree with you this year. Titan Suit. I'll be forever pissed that the only new Harlequin mini and the only named Harlequin they've ever released is a butt boy for Sororitas. I feel like the guy you mentioned earlier, I feel like if they are going to do a standalone Harlequin release, which they should, because it's one of the older model series now, especially for the Eldari, they should probably make a named him character, like as a character, even if he's not really, even if he's just a persona that the Seers put on. And also update the troop. Maybe do an actual troop master. troop leader model, and then update the troops so they're a little bit better. Her, thank you, her. Shadow Seers are almost all females, yeah. That makes sense. Because the only thing they need to fill out would be some equivalent to Wraith constructs. My thought was a baby carrier, an Eldari baby carrier, like a Dread Knight or a oh, what are they called in the Sororitas suit? Or a yeah, just a Harlequin gets the baby carrier. Sandrilli Veilwalker. There you go. There's a ship we need which can mine gas, clouds, and atmospheres. True, but we need to be able to actually interact with those clouds more than just being aesthetic. I can see like a marionette. Ooh, I can see that. It'd be cool. Because they already have bikes, they have transports, they have troops. They might need like a specialized troop. Kind of like how, like, you know, the Scream. We're going on the Eldar shit. Sorry, guys. Like the Screaming. There's like the Banshees. The I forgot all the names of them, but like each there's like a unique unit for each sort of style or like cast or like craft world of the Eldari for each of the Fire Lords or Phoenix Lords. We've wanted mimes forever. Starfarer technically has that capacity, 89. The problem is that it doesn't actually work. Like, you can actually acquire, passively acquire hydrogen fuel in a lot of ships, but it's not quite the same as passively as versus actively mining. I don't know if we're gonna get pets anytime soon, but it's a good guess. Do you think they'll do municipal works for T0 incidenting this year? Yes. Yes. I do think that's going to be the case. Basically, everything they showed off at CitizenCon Direct is going to probably make it into the game. Anything that was not showed off at CitizenCon Direct is likely not going to. Or has less of a chance. Like social tools. But then again, CIG has come out of fucking nowhere and dropped shit being like, hey, this is done, we're putting it in there. The topic is expectations for 2026. Like the skull helmet they just dropped seemingly after I pointed out Destiny 2 got one before Star Citizen did. They've been talking about that skull helmet forever, and it was in the game at one point. But it wasn't like... It was, you had to find it. They've been around since before Destiny 2 had one. It was like, it was the same ones like the Oni helmet and the Star Kitten helmet. Those, they had a skull helmet. Now you can actually, like, get them, though. Who are the guests? Space Tomato, Serious Fun, and Drinkers with Gaming Problems, aka Badger. That's why I got base building at the end of the year. We've seen the UI and everything. I imagine crafting and base building are similar in technical level. I feel like base building requires Genesis and Starchitect. So I feel like while it could technically be done, they're going to steal a lot of stuff from Genesis. They're going to make sure that Genesis is in and Starchitect's in for them to like actually do stuff with. Since how busy the UI artists are, I feel like UI is their choke point. It is their choke point. Right now, their UI is focused on the inventory, and I guarantee you they'll move from the inventory to social tools. So crafting will be, or probably crafting then social tools. But we'll see. That's a fantastic nickname. What, Drinkers with Gaming Problems? Yeah. All right, y'all. I'm going to go to the setup. If you're watching this on YouTube, we will be migrating over to the new Captain's Table podcast YouTube broadcast towards the actual start of the show. So if you stick around, you can, but we'll be moving over, and it should move you over automatically, or you can move over now and start hanging out there and chat, because that's where we're going to be doing all the chat and stuff like that. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back, chat. Turn this down so I don't boil to death. All right, chat. We'll be right back. You all passed, for those of you who said we were muted. That you're paying attention. For those of you who are new here to see that, the reason why we do that is because I can't show the people who are on the show what it looks like on their side. So if I messed up a name or if there's some other issues, I want to make sure that they can see it beforehand. So make sure you get all that done before we actually go live. So we'll be starting here in about 5 minutes or so. So if you're on YouTube, when we start, we'll end this stream and we'll start out the other one. You'll be good to go.